Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com with a piece of Finster over there. Here in random reviews from the Overflow room where we're still working on Tchaikovsky. Well, we got a little ways to go, I have to tell you. So let's pull out our next clump of Tchaikovsky stuff and let's see what it has in store. Oh my goodness, this is actually kind of fascinating. See, a lot of things recently, as you know, because we've been talking about this endlessly, have been boxed up in big boxes. But before boxes, there were individual CDs. And some of them were very hard to find. And so I found them from various sources. And when the boxes showed up, the individual discs went down into the overflow room because they took up more space than the box. So, it made life easier. For example, this little darling, we have Ferenc Fricsay. Yeah, Mr. Fricsay doing Tchaikovsky Fifth and the Serenade for Strings with the Berlin Phil and the RAIS Symphony Orchestra Berlin from 1949 and 1952. These are the early DG monos, and this is DG Japan, as you can see, from the kanji characters, if they're kanji or whatever they are, I don't know. Anyway, Fricsay, as we've talked about a million times, was fabulous. And most of his recordings were fabulous, and so I wanted to have this. So I did. So there was that. Then we've got, Ida Handel. Ida Handel doing the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto with the Royal Phil under Eugene Goossens, and the Brahms Violin Concerto with the London Symphony Orchestra under Sergiu Celibidache, her boyfriend. Sometimes, or at least, now and again. And the tempi here are perfectly normal, and Handel was a wonderful violinist. These are also monos from 1955 and it seems 1958. There we go. Put that there for now. Tchaikovsky, Les Concertos. Here they are in French, Les Concertos. Piano Concerto No. 1 with Georges Chiffra and André Vandernoot. We've already gone through this one. We talked about it. No. 2 with Jean Martinon and Sylvia Kirsenbaum. Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? The bit of No. 3 with Peter Donahoe and Rudolf Barshai, and the Violin Concerto with Leonid Kogan and Sylvestri, and the Rococo Variations, with Pierre Fournier and Malcolm Sargent. It's really rather a nice collection. Interesting that it's EMI in French. Well, it's a French EMI. Oh, and look, here's Sylvestri. Sylvestri again, doing Tchaikovsky 4, 5, and 6. Now, these are really wonderful performances of 5 and 6. 4 is weird. 4, he does something strange with the rhythm in the opening, the first movement. Everybody sort of remarked on that, what he was thinking of. I have no idea. You know how it goes, dum, da-da-da-dum, bum, bum, da-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-da, da-da-da-da-da. Well, he does sort of like, dum, da-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum, I don't know what he does. He has something very strange with it. I couldn't do it if I tried. Tchaikovsky and Schumann piano concertos with Ashkanazi. The London Symphony Orchestra under Lauren Mazel and Yuri Siegel. This is early Ashkenazi. Oh, look, gramophone says on the Schumann, Ashkenazi combines poetry with the necessary occasional vehemence and dialogues most sensitively with both the orchestra and individual soloists. Yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. It's nice. Ozawa does Tchaikovsky 5 and Romeo and Juliet, the 5th with the Boston Symphony. It's a very pretty 5th. I like this 5th. I always like this 5th. And the Romeo and Juliet's the San Francisco one, which I already have somewhere down here, like 1,000 million billion times over. And then, oh, wait a minute. Now we have Deutsche Grammophon, the Paranoia series. Panorama, whatever it was. We have the Nutcracker Suite with Rostropovich. Now, remember we talked about this, how in another disc here, they broke up his Tchaikovsky Ballet Suites disc. They had the other two, Romeo and Juliet and Sleeping Beauty, on another one of these. It was just stupid. The 5th with Leonard Bernstein. Oh my God, that's just terrible. It's late Bernstein. It's all pushed and squeezed and pulled and messed up. Romeo and Juliet, which he always did very well, and the Paita with Leonard Bernstein. That's his last one, the slow one, 58 minutes long. I love it. I did a whole talk about that. That was one of the recordings, one of the first recordings I reviewed as a critic, and it was the one that sort of got me on this path because Bernstein read the review, and had his secretary write to my editor at High Fidelity and say, yes, I was one of the few people who understood what he was trying to do. It was a moment. Let's put it that way. For me, anyway. Oh, who's this? Oh, my goodness. Paul van Kempen doing Tchaik 5 and Romeo and Juliet with the Concertgebouw on Philips. This must be, it's Japanese Philips, of course. And look at this picture of, I guess that's Paul van Kempen. He kind of looks like George Washington or something, like Thomas Jefferson. I don't know, one of those people, doesn't he? One of the founding fathers. But that's there. It's historical, very historical. Oh, yes, this is nuts. Tchaik 6, Carlos Paita on Lodia. This was his own label. And he did a bunch of things. There was a Bruckner 8th, a Dvorak 7th, this, a Brahms 1st, this, a Verdi Requiem, this. This was like one of the hot things to get. He goes nuts on the first movement development section. It's totally crazy. And the sonics are amazing. This was just great stuff. It would be nice to have all the Lodia things, or whoever owns them now, God only knows, sort of just boxed up and reissued. Wouldn't that be fun? I already did a talk about how no one does a bad Tchaik 6. Well, this is one of the volcanic ones. It was, yes, it really was. Oh, look. Erich Kleiber, the Paris Conservatoire Orchestra, doing Tchaik 4 on Decca. Well, this is in the Erich Kleiber box now. Remember we did a talk on stupid box sets where they had like all the Kleiber stuff, but not this. That's why I had this. Well, now it's in the Eric Kleiber complete box. It's available, so I can, have that separately. Oh my goodness. Isn't this interesting? My goodness. Taras Bulba, Janáček's Taras Bulba, and Tchaik 5. The Prague Radio Symphony Orchestra turns 70 under Vladimir Valek. So that was like it's on Český rozhlas, Czech radio. I got it because they turned 70, I guess. 70, you got to have it. Oh, Furtwangler, Tchaikovsky Patatik, and Glazanov's Stenka Rosin from 1945 and 1938. The 38 Berlin Phil is the famous Tchaik 6. It's like, everyone, drools over it because Furtwangler didn't do much Tchaikovsky, and then he did the Patatik actually twice. This is the earlier of the two, I believe. It's a good performance, actually. It's a good, solid performance, and it's not too much of a mess. And Stenka Rosin with a Vienna Phil. Oh, no. It should be Stinka Rosin. That doesn't work at all. Let's see. The Saito Keenan Orchestra with Seiji Ozawa doing Tchaikovsky Serenade for Strings, Mozart's Divertimento in D major, D136, and Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Beautiful string playing. The Saito Keenan Orchestra was, all Suzuki violinists or something like that. They were known for their string playing. And actually they do. They play just beautifully. It's a lovely concert. Oh, look, more Kleiber. The Patatik. He does the Patatik with the Paris Conservatoire. I get these because it's the Paris Conservatoire. I don't even care that it's Kleiber. The orchestra is the star here, or not when they play like pigs. They don't here. The finale's right quick, 8 minutes and 37 seconds of the finale. Woo! Zippy. But it's fun to hear. And this is a John Culshaw production from 1953. The John Culshaw. Tchaik 5, Paris Conservatoire, Solti, early Solti, with also some Berlin Philharmonic stuff with the Ruslan and Ludmila and a Chovan's Jetta Prelude and a Night on Bald Mountain and some other goodies like that. This is really early Solti. This is John Culshaw and Kenneth Wilkinson also in Paris in 1956 and 59, and it's stereo. I think they're doing another Solti box soon. Solti, the European, or Solti and everywhere else, or Solti doing something. When that comes, this will be in it. So you don't have to worry about finding it. Tchaik 4, and Iberia. I love this disc. This is with Ataulfo Argenta. Yes, with the Albanian Iberia Suite, with the Orchestre de la Suisse Romande, the Tchaik 4. I mean, they were always seedy sounding, but I had this on what was it, Decca Jubilee or Decca, whatever that budgie label they had was. And it was one of my first Tchaik 4s, and so I have a sentimental attachment to it. It's a good performance anyway. And Iberia, of course, is wonderful with the Paris Conservatoire. Yay! Because it's Paris Conservatory. That's mono, the Paris Conservatoire, Iberia, but I don't care. Edward von Beinum, Tchaikovsky, Romeo and Juliet, and Rossini Overtures. It's in the Beinum box, of course, but, it's worth talking about, because there it is. And, oh yes, Tchaikovsky 4, 5, and 6 with the Karl Boehm, who actually sort of acquired an affinity and an affection for Tchaikovsky late in his career. Now, some of these performances are rather heavy-handed. I mean, they're not the last in thrillingness, but they're surprisingly good, actually. I mean, bits of them anyway are. I don't think his fifth is anything to write home about, but 4 and 6, as I recall, were pretty decent. They're all a little bit on the slow side, a little bit heavy, a little Germanic, So what? And that, my friends, is the latest pile of Tchaikovsky from the Overflow Room. Keep on listening, and thank you for joining me. We have several piles to go. Take care.